Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Virche Epic Lycoris, continuing Lucas's encore ending. Well, encore, whatever, you know what I mean. Anyway, we're getting to the ending. I hope we get the ending for it in this part. We don't have any more choices. It seems like we're at the climax, but I gotta say, if we don't and we get like a thing and then it's like, and then it continues, I'm gonna throw something. Because this one I think has been good so far is like it keeps things moving, the plot's going on, it doesn't seem to be dragging. We've managed to make it. This is like now gonna be the 5th hour. But if they do what they did, like in Mathis's route, where they're like, everything seems like it's the ending, and then they're like, and then the next day, and then they keep going, because I'm recording the 3rd hour in a row. And it's very hard, as I've said before, I think we discussed this in Eve's route, like 2 hours at a time is like my max for this because it's so much. And like, even though I do enjoy the game, it's not like other games where I'm like, I could sit here for 3-4 hours and record, not a problem. This one is like after 2, I think I'm emotionally exhausted. But I'm also like doing the best that I can to bust my ass to prepare so that I can have everything recorded through mid-January. Because then when I can finally be able to record after Christmas and stuff like that, and I don't know what's happening. I don't know where I'm going to be, when I'm going to be, and when I'm going to be able to get back. I don't want it to be like, I'm 2 days ahead. So I need to be mid-January at least to be at least a week, if not 2 weeks ahead, to not totally fuck myself up. So it's one of those like normal time. I'd be like, 2 parts, we're good. But I'm like, I gotta do this third, especially because we're at the end. So I'm like, it just feels like we could do it. And then we just, whatever, do the other alternate endings in another time. Whatever. Not a big deal, But I also realize that it's kind of insane because if they do that thing where like they keep going, I'm going to be like, God damn it. And I'm going to get so mad. We've been doing good so far, though. We've been doing good so far. Everything's been happening. There's only been a couple of moments where it's getting to a point where the back of my mind, I'm like, all right, are we hitting a lull? And then something else happens and I'm like, okay. So far this one's been doing well. Keeping you on your toes and having things happen that make sense and not seeming to drag things on. So I'm really hoping that this is the end and we wrap it up. But also, with that whole being said, again, this is fair warning because I don't know when this is going to go up. I think it's sometime in December. But, I'm just preparing you that if for some reason I do get behind and I cannot get enough ahead over the holiday times, Christmas, New Year's, that last couple of weeks of the year and the beginning of next year, we will just go back to every other day. So I'm not going to leave you without stuff. It will just be every other day, but I'm doing my best. I got a plan in place. Like I know how much I need to do and we'll see what happens. So I also, for me, want to make sure I'm done with whatever route I'm doing. So I'm not like leaving and I come back and then I'm like, we were in the middle of Lucas's route. I mean, you know what I mean? So like, that's also too like, hey, the way it's arranged now, my expectation of, I'm not sure which route we'll be on in this game should end at a certain point, and then our other one will end in like perfect timing, so like I gotta record up to then anyway. This one's at least a little bit better because I could do say the encore and then we do the salvation stuff if we're in the middle of a character or something, you know what I mean? So it'll be okay, but like I can't stop in the middle of a route and then come back 2 weeks later. Goddamn well I can't remember a day later. Can you imagine 2 weeks later? 2 weeks later I'm not even going to remember what my name is. So anyway, we're going to watch Capucine hopefully die a gruesome, horrible death. So imagine that's how Capucine screams. And at the center of the laboratory, drenched in the blood of over a dozen corpses, was Lucas slitting the throat of one of the Society's followers with a dagger. I hope he kills Capucine. I'm sorry, I don't want Capucine to get arrested. I want Capucine to die. Painfully. I just need that in my life. I think we all need that. Because Capucine deserves it, but also cathartic for other things. Capucine is something that's just angsty or makes you angry or painful or just all the bad vibes. That's in Capucine, so we really need to see Capucine die painfully and slowly, you know? Everyone there looked like they were dyed in red for a moment as blood rained throughout the room. It was as if the sight of Boro's purification ritual was being replayed for me. However, this time the victims were... No. Oh, no! Stop! Stop! Ah! And we're all just like, And Lucas looks... Poor Lucas is crazed right now. In this place, clean and sterile, meant for the creation of life, the beast killed one person after another, drowning in his hatred. Good. Lucas's eyes turned quickly toward us. Here he comes. Spacey, get back! The piercing look in his eyes brought Adolphe and Eve back to reality, and they quickly readied their weapons. He ain't gonna hurt us. However, Lucas's gaze passed right over them. He's beautiful when he's pissed. That went by too fast, but... And with his bare hands, he killed the last of Capucine's guards. What? Lucas! Why? Adolphe and Eve weren't relivers or Lucas's enemies, but it seemed impossible to avoid a fight while he was under Capucine's command. The reason for that soon revealed itself. I like how their mouths move even though there's no sound, and you know it would just be like a like a gasp or something, but their mouths move as if they're saying more than just so weird. Lucas closed in on Capucine, who had lost his last line of defense. Even if he didn't even have the strength to swing his halberd. Okay. Even if he didn't have the strength to swing his halberd, or if he didn't even have the strength to swing, even if he even didn't, even if he didn't even have even with the evens. Okay, guys, seriously? His eyes told Capucine he could easily kill him without it. Do it. Save me! Capucine looked toward me as he shouted, "Oh, you had no wrong bitch to ask." Once we secured the laboratory, this monster suddenly appeared and began killing the researchers and the Society's followers. No one could stop him. Everyone with a weapon was turned into chunks of meat because of this man. As Capucine shouted, his entire body shook. I must kill. Yes, you must, sweetie. This time I'm going to let you go. The fiends who mock life. All of them. Before a future that Spacey and Nadia can live in can be trampled over. I could see now. Lucas had gone completely mad. But the ones he directed his bloodthirst toward were the ones he chose of his own accord. Boro cracked his knuckles, drenched in blood, readying himself to serve judgment on the true sinner. Help me! I'll give you as much money as you want. I'll give up on taking over this laboratory. That's right. I'll make you all whatever genetic clones you want. So please. Yeah, then you're gonna buy us. I couldn't stand hearing Capucine's pleas. Can we just shoot him? I really wish she would just shoot him and put him out of his misery. I don't want him to be put out of his misery. I just don't want her to stop Lucas. Normally I would have buried my emotions and saved him as he wished. But you ain't going to, right? The stupid grin on my face right now, she's like, normally I would. But you ain't gonna, right? Capucine was a criminal to be judged by the appropriate institutions, after all. I shouldn't leave him to die just because of my personal feelings. Yes, you should! Don't make me frown. Adolphe's like, and Eve over there is like, we're gonna let him kill him, right? I mean, right? We're not gonna stop this, right? Like, if I have to choose between Lucas and Capucine, I mean, I know Lucas is a murderer, but like, Capucine sucks. And Adolphe's like, I have no idea what to do right now. However, no one moved. Good. If we were to agitate this killer, we'd end up with the same fate as the disassembled corpses scattered about the room. And we don't want that. Maybe, guys, maybe we just let Lucas kill Capucine and then he'll, like, snap back into reality? The time of judgment has come for the false minister. No! I didn't do anything wrong! Okay! Okay, sweetie, okay. I simply pursued my art, wanting to offer the world the beauty of genes in the most magnificent way possible. This is a great achievement! Lucas, stay on my side and you're sure to understand how amazing that is. You made the wrong mistake by saying Nadia's gonna be your bride. If you hadn't said that, maybe he wouldn't have snapped like that. Maybe. I feel like that is definitely something that pushed him over the edge. Lucas suddenly stopped. Capucine looked as if he saw some hope at Lucas's hesitation. Oh, no. The greatest sinners are you and me. With those words, Capucine was plunged into despair once again. Is it too much to want a CG of Lucas, like, killing Capucine? She just kind of wants it. Am I the only one that kind of wants that CG? Like, yeah, it would kind of be, like, sad because you're like, oh, we'd have a Lucas CG that's him being, like, a murderer. But there'd be something so, like, good about having a CG. Just some kind of record, documented proof of Lucas killing Capucine. And I just, because we can't bear witness to it aside from in text form. You know what I'm saying? So, does that make me a little bit of a serial killer deep down inside? Maybe. I don't know. He desperately tried to get away, but behind him was only a wall. No, I don't want to die. Someone, anyone. I was like, there's a lot of ends there. Okay, right. I got it. Lucas grabbed Capucine's face and simply smashed it against the wall, crushing him like a fruit. That was like too fast for him. That's unfortunate. And that was the end of the minister who sacrificed the lives of so many others for his own desires. That was so anticlimactic. I was really hoping for him to like scream a little bit more, but you know, it is Lucas / Boros, so it's going to be violent and painful and like fast, so... Blood and rubble fell down to the floor together. Amongst them are bits of what used to be Capucine. It shouldn't be funny, but it is. Adolphe and Eve are still in the same. However, the others didn't lower their swords nor let their guard down. And that was because... must kill all who belong to the Society of Exorcists. I will cast judgment on those on the wrong path. The madness and bloodlust still hadn't vanished from Lucas. We can fix this. Lucas... I was certain he had chosen the targets to direct his bloodlust toward. However, he was no longer sane enough to pick out his true target from the others. If you're gonna kill regular followers of the Society who don't actually know what's going on, we'll have to stop you. Even if it means risking our lives. The moment he heard them, Lucas decided the others were members of the Society. In other words, a conflict that risked the lives of my dear friends was inevitable. Shh! Adolphe blocked a strike from Lucas's dagger moments before it reached his chest. Their swords clashed against each other in a frenzy a few more times. Are we gonna have to shoot him? Because the strength was sapped from Lucas's diminishing lifespan and sanity, Adolphe and Eve stood a chance against him now. Do you think that'd be better, like, if he's gonna basically die? Like, we're saying this is diminishing lifespan, and he might not be able to come back now. He's killed Capucine. Do you think we have to shoot him? And then we'll just have a moment where we're holding him as he's dying and, like, whatever, and then he finally comes back right before he dies. They don't like Lucas, so he ain't getting out of this alive, is what I feel, so. Adolphe, stand your ground! Sorry, Lucas. Eve swung vigorously at Lucas from behind, and his blade slashed into Lucas's side, which was already drenched in blood. However, Lucas reacted quickly and kicked Eve in the stomach with what strength he had left. Eve! Eve was sent back toward the wall, landing against it with a thud. Ew, that's probably the wall that Capucine's head's gushed all over. However, he shouted out loud as if not even feeling any pain. Don't worry about me. Keep going and stop Lucas Adolphe. The cut Eve made into Lucas was clearly slowing him down. You just shoved yourself against my hand. Why'd you bite me? I didn't do nothing. My hand's just here and you just shoved yourself against it. You're sitting in the weirdest way possible, Bird. I have my hand cupped so you can cup into my hand. But, I can't quite, I don't want to, if I reach my arm out, it hurts my arm. But you want me to hold my arm out, but I have no place. So now my arm's stretched out. I had it, at least laying comfortably, so my hand was cupped on my leg, and he was, just leaning against my fingertips, and it's well, cup into my hand, because he likes being cupped, He likes snuggling into things. But, now I have to stretch my arm out, because he didn't want to move, 3 inches. Lazy jerk. He's such a brat. I could tell from the way Lucas's body staggered violently. Adolphe must have decided his attacks would have an effect on Lucas now, readied himself. Come back to your senses! Spacey's waiting for you to come back to her! He swung his sword down in an attempt to cut off Lucas's right arm, but he didn't imagine that Lucas would stop it with his bare hand. What? You, too, are one of them. One of the fiends. Adolphe! I called to him desperately, but it was too late. Lucas's hand closed in on Adolphe's right shoulder as he stood taken aback and thrust the dagger right into the middle of it. His sword fell with a clatter on the floor. Lucas looked down with cold eyes at Adolphe, who'd fallen to his knees. Adolphe! There was no pity or hesitation at all. Preparing to slit his throat, Lucas raised his dagger of judgment up high. We're going to jump in the way. Or shoot him. The misguided judgment that was to be cast was stopped by the hole that was open in Lucas's chest. Did we shoot him? The blood flowing from Lucas fell onto Adolphe, who sat there in a daze, staring at the sight before him. And if you opened a hole in his chest, you're lucky that bullet didn't go right through to Adolphe's fucking skull. However, he quickly returned to his senses and looked my way. Oh, we just shot our boyfriend. Lucas? I stood there, tears spilling from my eyes. You know Lucas wasn't getting out of this. Not oh, I can be happy at the end even though I'm going to die and I'm in jail. No. It was never going to happen that way, so I ain't surprised. In my hands was the gift I had received, smoke rising from its barrel after delivering the final blow through Lucas's chest. Lucas collapsed where he stood from the shock of being shot. Instead of another curse toward the society, what he spat out instead was blood. Spacey. I'm sorry. I just couldn't watch Lucas committing any more sins. Adolphe. Yeah. Eve gave Adolphe a hand to help him up, and the two of them departed the laboratory without saying another word. I imagined they were being considerate of me and Lucas, because I felt they could tell that he clearly couldn't be saved, considering his injury, and gave me some time to see him off. I was going to say, there is no way they're going to have an and then type of a thing, unless it's an after credit scene. I don't know if this one does credits and then does a scene, or if they do the after credit scene before it ends type of a thing. I can't remember. Whoops, I know I wasn't. I bumped my controller. God damn it, that keeps happening in these parts. Jesus. I suppressed all the emotion that was about to burst out of me. Sitting down on the floor, I settled myself beside the person I love. As he lay there dying, I placed his head onto my lap. I'm gonna guess that did we not get any CGs in, like, Ever Mathis's encore? I mean, we got, like, the one for him, like the baby Lucas one, but I don't think we got any other ones, and that just seems really kind of fucking weird. Does Lucas just, like, have no CGs? Do they hate him that much? Seriously? What the hell? As he lay there dying, I placed his head onto my lap. We're not going to have a lot of choices on what CG we look at the end of this. I'm not done. I can't die yet. For Spacey and Nadia. I have to take everyone down with me. Lucas. As he cursed his enemies, I covered his mouth with my lips. The kiss I shared with him was so saddening, with the taste and scent of so much blood. Lucas's eyes opened from the surprising sensation, and in his eyes was a golden yellow that could reflect even the darkness inside, even the darkness itself. Wow. Then his bloodthirst slowly began to disappear. Spacey. Yes. Did you call me Lucas? He was finally looking at me. However, it seemed he hadn't realized that he was dying right now. What was I doing? He asked me his question in a voice so calm it almost felt relaxed. I was momentarily at a loss for how to answer, as he was unaware of the despair that awaited him. Oh, Lucas. You were burdening yourself with everything again, all alone. You were trying too hard, leaving the rest of us behind. You're always pushing yourself so hard. I had to stop you, with Adolphe and the others. I decided to tell him a small lie as I smiled and sobbed silently at the same time. At the very least, I didn't want Lucas to hate himself for being a murderer. I see. He accepted my answer, as it seemed he didn't even have the strength to think anymore. It didn't seem that he understood that he'd be dead in just a few minutes either. That was the only silver lining in all this. At the same time, I felt it was terribly cruel that I couldn't tell him goodbye. Where's Nadia? She's in a safe place, waiting for you to get back to her. Lucas breathed a sigh of relief at my reply. Well, she has no need for a foolish murderer like me to save her. I'm so glad you and Nadia didn't have to get involved in my plummet into despair. Tears of joy fell from Lucas's eyes, not even knowing that he was about to show me the deepest despair of losing the one I loved most. I pushed back the tears attempting to flow out of me. It's still early to be happy just yet. Once all this is over, let's get Nadia and go back to your house together. I smiled as I spun a lie about a wish that would never come true. It was all to send him off with happiness. Are you sure? A sinner like me doesn't deserve that. Of course I'm sure. Your sins can't really be forgiven. But until the end of your life, I'm sure God will allow you to spend the rest of the time you have with those you love. So let's go back to that house. And with the finished wheelchair Don's making, the three of us will go on walks across the beautiful flower fields. That's a wonderful idea. I'm sure such bright flowers would be so fitting on you and Nadia. When we do. Envisioning the hopeful future I suggested, Lucas reached his hand out toward me. Just like we promised back then, I'll make you a ring made out of flowers. So, please, let me put it on you as proof of our bond in marriage. That is so sad. You know the implications, and when he's talking about a flower ring, you're like, okay. But then he specifically has to say it. They're like, you know what, we're going to kill him, but, like, here's another gut punch. Did I need another one? No, you bastards. He squeezed my hand with his. Until I die, I want us all to be a family. The tears I was holding back finally broke forth, falling for me onto Lucas's cheek. After sobbing and sputtering over and over, "Of course, I'd love to." I accepted his proposal for marriage in exchange for his life. "Thank you." Not knowing from where the droplets came from, Lucas replied, smiling with joy. With a final burst of blood pouring out of his chest came his final moments. Unable to recognize the despair brought about by Lucas himself. "Until I journey to the afterlife, please watch after me by my side. Spacey, my light. From the bottom of my heart, I love you." With hope in his heart, he was off on his journey. The fingers intertwined with mine lost their strength and were about to slip out of my hand. But I took hold of them again and brought the back of his hand to my cheek. "You did so well. Here in Art Basel, the place you tried so hard to protect until it drove you mad. I promise you that Nadia and I will live our lives to the fullest. I'd live out my short 23 years protecting that which he aimed to protect. And once you finish your atonement, I hope you'll come for me. Promise me, Lucas. The next time it wouldn't be a dream, and that we would grasp true hope together as a family." See, now that is the perfect place to fucking end it. Unless you're going to have like a little bit of an after. That is the perfect place to end it. That was totally, and there was literally, okay, so, all right. But like, can I just be honest? Okay, hold on a second. Eva has 11. Oh, you can't go. Oh, you can, the next one. No, we only have one fucking CG. Did we really? Wait a minute. Who do you like the best? You like Cyan the best. He gets 12. Well, 12 versions. They still have the same number of CGs. Anko gets 12 too. Oh. Anko gets an extra one. Anko's the specialist boy. They all get 9. But then there's just like 11 versions on those 9. But Anko gets 10. Anko is, and another gets, those are probably from the after stories. But like, seriously? This is the only CG we have in all. Is that really how it worked? Like in Luke and Eve's, did we really only get that one CG? In his encore? Or do they just hate Lucas? Because, like, this is fine. It's at least it's a nice CG. But we're gonna do the other part, his other endings, next time. And there's not going to be, like, okay, here's the end. I mean, we do the encore, and then we do all the ends, and then we do the other two. Well, we do the emotion one, which is the salvation end and the despair end. We do all those together, and then we do the bad ends for that. They have like 4 parts, right? Am I crazy? Did I forget how we've been doing this? Because like, Lucas is gonna get kind of screwed because whatever we do with the bad endings, there's probably not going to be a CG or anything. And so we're going to be looking at this one again. So that's kind of unfortunate for him. That's a little unfair. You know what I'm saying? Because like, oh, no. Okay. The other end gets a CG. Okay. So the other end that we'll do next gets a CG at least. All right, cool. So we'll have another one, because I'm like, that would really suck if we don't get another CG and in the next part we do the other ending, the other version, which is probably going to suck too. Let's be real. I mean, it wasn't a bad one. This wasn't a bad ending. It was bad, but it was like at least pretty and like bittersweet is what it is. Because you're like, he died, but it's Virche and this is what we expect from the game. So for this game, that was a decent question mark ending. Bad ending is like dying painfully agonizing, or we get murdered or something, and this is like the I got to hold him in his last moments and see him off into and he was happy in the end and he had no clue what he did, and it's like that's the best we can hope for, especially for poor Lucas, right? So, but at least in the other alternate ending that's not a quote unquote bad end, we will get a CG. So, because otherwise I'm like, then, like, like, Lucas always gets the short end of the stick. They were like, fuck him. I don't understand. Oh my god. But at least this CG's cute, so. But anyway, yeah, we'll do the bad ends and then the alternate ending in the next part. So this one was his was a little bit shorter, or it was just easier to get through. I don't know. You know what I mean? I would guess it was probably a little bit shorter. Because I feel like there were plenty of times where I was like, okay, let's think about this. And I did a lot of postulating and everything like I usually do. So I don't think it was the lack of giving me anything to talk about. You know what I mean? So I don't think that was that. I don't think I was on the ball just reading it and not spending 20 minutes ranting about nothing. Okay? So I feel like his was a little bit shorter. But then again, I do subscribe to the notion that the writers and they hate Lucas. Because I think that was clear from the first game. So I agree with people who played the first game and were like, wow, they don't like Lucas, do they? Yeah, I don't think they do. And I kind of feel like this was sort of proof of that. I mean, what else were you really going to do? And I can't hate what they did because you kind of had to know it wasn't going to go well. You know what I mean? You had to know. And I don't, like, these ones are, like, not supposed to be, like, the bestest versions anyway of endings. We'll see what happens when we do the Salvation one. But anyway, we'll get the other endings for the encore, at least in the next part. So that part will probably be a little bit of a shorter part too. So, but anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.